Hello, everyone. Brent Kuhn here with the law firm. I wanted to provide all of you with a general update as to the most recent developments that are breaking regarding what we call the digital addiction crisis in America. This stems from the issues associated to social media generally, Meta and other apps, as well as the problems systemic within the video gaming industry, as well as improprieties within the online betting, particularly as it applies to addicted gamblers and to minors who have been able to access online betting platforms improperly. So let me tell you the brief update regarding the general lay of the land as of related to all of you for each of those three different types of what we call digital addiction programs. As a result of the first verdict in the country just a couple of weeks ago from my good friend Mark Lanier, as well as the verdict in New Mexico involving my good friend Don Magliordi with an East Coast firm, there's been a lot more attention drawn to the issues associated to digital addiction, not only from just the media and the exposure resulting from them, but also a much greater interest within the legal community now that there's a better understanding about what's going on. So as a result of that, we have the first conferences in the country associated to those issues where we get to meet other lawyers that are involved in this litigation, compare notes, and to start working together to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our investigations and prosecution of these platforms of litigation. So briefly, I was in Vegas last week for the national conference associated to all three of these in conjunction with what's called the Mass Torts Program. And going to the meetings with the law firms there, again, met the lawyers that were involved in the underlying verdicts that have just been obtained, as well as some other law firms that have been working on this litigation for the last year or two. Again, this is all pretty much groundbreaking litigation, and there's a lot of uncertainties regarding what will happen with them. There is legislation that was passed many years ago that provides us some immunity to all of these digital platforms regarding the scope of any liabilities. And so it remains to be seen where our courts will weigh in on what protections, if any, they're given as a result of the claims that are now alleged against them. So again, the brief update is there are a lot of lawyers now talking about this. We're able to network now more with the medical community, a lot more attention being given to it as a result of these most recent verdicts. And not surprisingly, the tech industry has run to Washington and is rounding up their lobbyists to try to pass legislation that gives them further protections and immunity. We've worked with our lobbyists in Washington on behalf of the trial bar as well to fight these off. And the early feedback is that right now there's a bipartisan understanding of the issues that are involved here. And there's a lot of concern with our Congress about where all of this is going with digital addiction now that there's becoming a heightened awareness across the country. So this is a long battle. It will be years before we see any final resolutions, and we're cautiously optimistic that the resolutions are going to be changes to the law about how these platforms can be accessed, particularly with protection with minors, a better understanding of the mental health consequences of all of it, and hopefully compensation for those that have been taken advantage of as a result of all these platforms manipulating their algorithms to enhance and increase the likelihood of addiction. So that's where we are early on. And again, we'll continue to attend these other conferences and continue to work in collaboration with some of the other law firms that are out at the forefront with us on this cutting edge litigation.
You've been watching a litigation update with Brent Kuhn and Associates. Brent Kuhn and Associates is a nationally recognized law firm and the epitome of the 21st century law practice. The firm has built its reputation on the satisfaction of its clients and the respect of both colleagues and opponents. Our mission is to help ensure that individuals' rights are protected and their well-being respected. For more information about Brent Kuhn and Associates and current litigation, please visit bkuhnlaw.com.